Welcome to Sports News. The fire incident that occurred this morning at the Nigeria Football Federation headquarters in Wuse Zone 7 has been attributed to electrical faults. The fire, which started from the Chief Accountant's office, also affected that of the Secretary General and the President. No casualties were recorded. Our correspondent, Lanre Lasisi, reports.
The fire at the Nigerian Football Federation started around 10 a.m., engulfing the whole of the third floor. A staff of the Federation gives us an account of what happened.
You know, I came back, checked quite well. I noticed it wasn't my boss's office, that's the General Secretary, Barrister Musa Amadou, not my office. We are now checking around when we saw that it was from accountant's office. Efforts were made, you know, to quench the fire. At least the first time, people came with fire extinguisher. We had some, though they didn't really work as expected. You know, we didn't even know that it was going to escalate to this point because even my handbag was there. I didn't make any effort to remove it.
Officials of the fire service eventually turned up and assisted in putting out the fire.
You know, it's an emergency thing, which you can't predict. But a suspected cause should have been as a result of a short-circuit concept, which has to do with electrical issue. You know what we are talking about. Yeah. And that was the cause. So definitely, we should be able to nip it in the bud. And that's exactly what we are saying now.
Some members of the executive committee were on ground and also spoke on the development.
I have no reason whatsoever, as a very patriotic citizen, to have this fire happen anywhere in the glass house, not to even talk about my office. The fire, as I was told when can you take it easy? The fire, as I was told, started from the Chief Accountant's office right next to my office. And I just parked my car and I was about to go up when they said there was smoke. And of course we tried to get the fire service to come. The whole place was dark and there was just no way we could go there. So this is not a blame game, and I don't know why people are in the habit of doing this sort of thing. This is a rather very, very sad development for Nigerian football.
God is in control. I think a human being we are all limited to what we can do. But first and foremost, one must appreciate the Almighty God for no life is lost. And we are grateful to Him. But things will come back to normal, and I believe the security agency will take on their course to set up a very, very investigative panel to inquire what actually happened.
The Director General of the National Sports Commission, Honorable Benga Elegbele, and the Chairman of the Senate Committee on Sports, Senator Adamu Gumba, have commiserated with the Nigerian Football Federation over the fire outbreak. They are happy that no lives were lost in the incident and express their hope that the disaster will not have any serious effect on the programs of the NFF. The NFF President, Alhaji Aminu Megeri, assured them that he had personally assessed the impact of the fire and that the programs of the NFF and the Nigerian Football Federation will not be affected. Lanre Lasisi, Channels Television News.
To more heartwarming news now. Nigeria's under-20 women's team, the Falconets, have qualified for the final of the FIFA Under-20 Women's World Cup. Asisat Oshoala scored 4 goals as Nigeria thrashed North Korea 6-2 in the semi-final of the tournament. The Rivers Angels strikers scored in the 24th, 60th, 68th and 85th minute to complete the demolition of the Asians. Oshoala is now the tournament's top scorer with 7 goals. Nigeria will face the winner between Germany and France in the final. The Germany versus France encounter comes up in about an hour. And that's it on Sports News. Ijoma will be back for the rest of the news at 10.
To the foreign scene now, U.S. President Barack Obama has described a video showing a U.S. journalist, James Foley, being beheaded by an IS militant as an act of violence that shocks the conscience of the entire world. The IS group released the video yesterday, saying Foley's killing was revenge for U.S. airstrikes on its fighters in Iraq. Here's Cynthia Are with more.
Well, Sadly, that was the case, and the jihadist group released a video of Foley, missing in Syria since 2012, saying his killing was revenge for U.S. airstrikes on its fighters in Iraq. Foley's mother, Diane, said he gave his life trying to expose the world to the suffering of the Syrian people.
Friends and allies around the world, we share a common security and a common set of values that are rooted in the opposite of what we saw yesterday. And we will continue to confront this hateful terrorism and replace it with a sense of hope and civility. That's what Jim Foley stood for.
Then U.S. Attorney General Eric Holder is due in the town of Ferguson, Missouri, to diffuse tensions following the police shooting of a black teenager. Mr. Holder promised a full, fair, and independent investigation. And a landslide in Japan's Hiroshima prefecture has left 32 people dead. Images from the scene showed houses buried in mud and rocks as rescue teams worked their way towards homes. Finally, the Ukrainian government and rebel forces are both claiming control of the small town of Ilovaisk in the Donetsk region after intense fighting. And those are the top stories on the foreign scene.
Thanks a lot, Cynthia. And the main news again. The federal government has announced the release of 200 million naira to Lagos for the treatment of the Ebola virus disease. The amount is said to be part of the 1.9 billion naira emergency fund promised by the president last week. The World Health Organization has expressed satisfaction with the management of Ebola in Nigeria and affirmed that the chain of transmission is being effectively contained. And President Obama has described the beheading of a U.S. journalist, James Foley, by IS militants as an act of violence shocking to the entire world. Well, that's the news at 10 tonight. Thanks a lot for staying with us. I'm Ijoma Hunyato. Focus on Africa is up next. Good night.